Greetings and salutations. My name is Tanisha, and this is my reality breakdown. All right, so this is a channel dedicated to breaking down some of the famous reality TV shows. Today's episode is all about the Braxtons. The breakdown of the Braxtons are back. So this is a reality show that I was really excited for because basically it's kind of a spinoff of the original Week TV series, The Braxton Family Values. It stars Toni Braxton and her sisters. Tracy, Tawanda, Trina, and Tamar, and also her mother, Miss Evelyn. But unfortunately, Tracy Braxton actually passed away. I think it was like in 2022 due to cancer. So now it's just the four remaining sisters, her mother, Evelyn, and also her son, Kevin Jr., Tracy's son, Kevin Jr., as they, travel through life, love, and liberty and all that fun jazz. And I gotta say, as excited I was for the show to come back, because Toni Braxton's one of my fave. Unbreak My Heart, one of the greatest ballads of all time. I gotta say, towards the end there, this family was really in reality TV breakdown. Don't know what it is, but as reality TV goes on, it kind of tears families apart, or maybe it just shows them as they really are, because this is kind of a toxic family reunion. But then again, I think that's why so many people are drawn to it, because they can see themselves in this family as well too. We've all been there. We've all had to deal with issues with grief and loss in a family, and it can be a lot, especially in a big family like that, when you're a multi-generational family. So let's dive in. So the first episode, the Braxtons are back. So we kind of get a little glimpse into what they've been up to, what's been going on with the family. So the first scene starts out with Trina and her husband Vaughn for a couple of years now. They're still doing great, which I was really happy for. Trina, she had so many bad love interests in the Braxton Family Values. So I know a lot of people don't really like Vaughn, because they say, oh, he's so bland, he's so this and that. But I think for me, opposites attract. That's why Trina likes him, because he mellows her out and makes her a bit more level. Because Trina, of all the sisters, she's the emotional one. Yeah, she's definitely, if this were the movie Inside Out, she would be sadness. She is crying almost every other episode, and she definitely gets some tears out in this one as well too. As we're talking about Tracy, since the death of Tracy in 2022, the sisters are more divided now than ever. Really though, the family's kind of always been broken up. Tamar and Toni were like kind of close, but because they were living out in LA. Tawanda and Trina were close because they were living in Atlanta. And then Michael, which is one of the elder siblings, he's the brother. He's not on the show that much. And Tracy, they were living in Baltimore, which is where the family's from. So they were all kind of divided. And Trina also reveals that she hasn't really talked to or worked with them since Tracy's passing, but she really wants to reconnect. She wants that sisterly bond back, especially because when Tracy took her last breath, it was Trina that was there. So she's been going through a line, so she really wants to reconnect with her sisters, as she should. And so they all decide to get together and have a dinner, kind of one of the first scenes where all the family is together, the sisters and the mom. And then Kevin Jr. Okay, so Kevin Jr. is Tracy Braxton's son. And not only is he her son, he's our only child. So he lost his mom. Also, he's going through some other things as well, too, especially with his father, Kevin Sr. For those of y'all who have seen Braxton Family Values, Tracy and Kevin Sr. had a lot of issues. And so apparently Kevin Sr. and Kevin Jr. aren't really speaking. And at first I'm like, oh, that's rude. Why would you want to reach out to your only child, especially when his mom passed away? Yeah, that's your wife, but that's also his mama too. But grief is a mother, and it can affect you in many, many ways. So trying to keep an open mind, trying to give him some grace in that effect. And so all of them, the next scene, they all sit down for dinner. Toni has something to say. Now let's be clear. Whenever Toni Braxton tells her sisters, hey, I got something to say, guys, I got something I need to tell you, it's always related to her health. She's had lupus for a very, very long time, and it's the kind of lupus that really attacks her heart. Lupus is an autoimmune disease, so basically her heart's attacking itself. And she's talking about how, so first she talked about her career a little bit, how she's going on this Las Vegas residency with Cedric the Entertainer called Love and Laughter, which I thought, that's a cute title. And so she's really, really nervous about getting back into it, because the doctors are telling her that they have to put a stent in her heart, because any day she might have a heart attack and she might die like Tracy. And so I think at this point, all the sisters now are really facing their own mortality at this point in the game, because Toni at this point, she's 56 years old. She has more years behind than she does in front. And so I think with the death of Tracy, they're all really thinking about their legacies, what they want to leave behind, especially if those with all of them have children as well too. And so Tony's just scared. She's scared. There was a line that she said that, oh my goodness, really just broke my heart. She was like, Tracy, I was the sick one, not Tracy. So I never expected for Tracy to leave before me. Especially because she's the eldest sister too. And she's like, I couldn't save my sister from this. Toni carries a lot of unnecessary guilt from the sisters, I will definitely say. A lot of guilt that her parents kind of put on her because she was the chosen one. She was the one that had the big contract. She was the one that went on to become the Toni Braxton. So there's always been a level of guilt that she's carried. And her guilt now is just more than doubled now that Tracy's gone, which it's not her fault. I just want to give Toni a big ol' hug and tell her it's not your fault. You don't have to carry this weight. But then they all kind of agreed that, like, they need to go to some type of counseling, a grief counselor at that, especially because of the loss of Tracy. So they all agreed as a family that they would go to seek grief counseling. And so then Toni, I think there was Tamar who had said, hey, how's Kevin Jr. doing? It's like, oh, Kevin Jr. is getting a divorce from his wife. What? I'm sorry, what? Yeah, okay. Again, Kevin Jr. got married, and they actually showed the girlfriend girlfriend turned wife that they saw in the original show. But it was weird because it's like, oh my God, they're so young. What happened? They just had a baby. So not only did he lose his mom, now he's losing his marriage too, and he's not talking to his dad. That poor boy is going through so much. Oh my goodness. And so they're like, so Tamar was shocked. It's like, no one called me, no one talked to me. And so Tawanda was like, how about you call your nephew and ask him how he's doing? So you can tell that there's a lot of disconnect among the family members as well. So they just don't talk. I feel like when the cameras aren't rolling, some of them don't even talk to each other. They don't even have any kind of communication or nothing. And I have my thoughts on that more towards the end, but I want to keep this going. So yeah, Toni has a breakdown. She just starts crying and saying, I'm scared. I don't want to just go on stage and drop dead. Because she's done that. That has happened to her in the past. She had a Las Vegas residency and she collapsed on stage. And then when she did collapse, not only did her career kind of collapse, but also her financial situation collapsed as well too. So she's scared that she's going to go back to that. And so the sisters all gather around her and they're like, you know what? This isn't God's plan. You tell it to leave and that fear will leave. And so they have a beautiful moment. And I'm like, this is the Braxton I like. This is the Braxtons that I like, that rally around each other when they see one of them is having a moment. So this is what I like to see in families, especially this one. And so then dinner's over, so we have another scene of Tawanda and Trina. Tawanda and Trina, as I said, they were always very, very close, and after Tracy passed, they just got even closer. And so Tawanda actually has been, the fans were like, oh my God, is Tawanda sick? Because for a while there, when we saw Tracy sick on like social media, you can kind of see she got thinner and thinner, and Tawanda shaved her head. At first, I'm like, maybe she just did in solidarity to her sister and remembrance, but as it turns out, Tawanda has alopecia. And so she didn't. Tawanda is known in the family as the secret squirrel, if you will. And she always keeps secrets. She doesn't really like to share a lot of things with her family as well, too. And for a while, though, I'm like, why is she keeping so many secrets? But honestly, I just think she doesn't trust her family a lot. I think she knows them, not just on camera, but off camera as well, too. She knows how catty they can be, how mean they can be. Because sometimes these girls can be a bunch of mean girls. I mean, especially when you have sisters, it can be rough. So sometimes you just want to keep things to yourself. You don't really want to tell, but that doesn't really serve you as well. I mean, you're on a show, number one, so you want to be authentic as possible. But also, you're not being fair to yourself by holding all that in. But so this is her moment. She said, I have alopecia. I'm proud of it. I'm living with it, and it's not going to define me. And so I'm like, all right, go to Wanda. Also, for all my people who are watching this, why is Tawanda called Umba? Like the family always, that was her nickname in the family, is Umba. I'm like, how did they ever reveal that? I wish they would tell us why that was. If y'all know, please comment down below if y'all know why that is. Okay, so then we go on to the next scene where the sisters are getting ready for the grief counseling. I will say, in comparison to the Braxton family values, they really do a good job of incorporating the behind the scenes, where they show them getting into hair and makeup. They show the camera angles of them walking in and out of the rooms. So I guess in that remark, they're kind of breaking the fourth wall. Excuse me, in that remark. And Toni she's taking Tracy's death very hard. Upon the meeting of this grief counseling, it's basically been 2 years and it's literally the 2-year anniversary that week of Tracy's passing. And so it's hard on the whole family. So I'm so thankful that they're doing this grief counseling. And I'm so thankful as a Black family, I will say, that they're doing this. Oftentimes in the Black community, therapy is kind of looked down upon. But I'm just kind of thankful that I'm part of that generation that were like, no, if something's hurting you, then it's okay to go seek help. It's okay to talk to somebody. It's not a taboo as it once was. And that this influential Black family is sitting down with a grief counselor and willing to open up their thoughts and feelings and emotions, that I do appreciate. And so Toni, she goes on, again, she is just so heartbroken over Tracy. She says, I just miss her. I miss her every single day. And I can't even imagine what these girls are going through. I mean, a lot of people, I definitely read the comments as well too. I watch other videos about the Braxtons and everything. And they're always like, they were always so mean to Tracy. They were always so nasty. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, they were. They were. If you go back and watch the original series, Braxton Family Values, they were absolutely nasty to Tracy. Always nitpicking on her because she wasn't the glamorous one. She was the stay-at-home wife. I mean, going back and talking about their history, the Braxtons had a group. They were actually a group before Toni went solo, and so then Toni was the one that was picked, and then it was just the 4 of them. So Toni worked really, really hard with her contract to get them a contract, but when it came time to sign the new group, the Braxtons contract, Tracy got signed at the time they were supposed to sign. So Tracy was given an option by the record label saying either you have your baby, but you're not in the group, or you have an abortion. And Tracy was like, I'm not aborting my baby. And they're like, we're not putting you in the group. And so that Tracy went back to home in Maryland, and the girls, I think Trina, Twanda, and Tamar, they went on and did the group called the Braxtons off of Toni Braxton. And so that was always a really big divide in the family. Like, why didn't you guys wait for me? Because Trina was in the group, but she had a kid, but she had it before they signed the contract. Whereas Tracy was pregnant when they signed. And so with girl groups, still that does happen, especially in the 90s. I think in a 2024 kind of world, that wouldn't have mattered. I mean, if she was, it probably would have, promoted like, oh, pregnant woman on stage singing, dancing, whatnot. That would have been celebrated. Whereas in the 90s, as a all-female Black group, it would have mattered. Perfection was the game back then, so it absolutely would have. And it sucks. It sucks that Tracy was left behind, and I do believe that they always kind of looked down on her a little bit, not intentionally, although some more intentionally than others, I will say. I definitely feel like Tamar was the meanest out of all of them, but then again, Tamar's got a whole lot of issues, so she needed someone else to kind of beat down on to feel better about herself. I think Tracy was that person. That's just my opinion. Alright, so going back into this, so you can understand why a lot of the sisters are really feeling the grief of Tracy's loss, because they're kind of remembering not just the good times, but also the sad times and the times that they were petty and mean, and you realize none of that was worth it. None of that meanness was worth it. And I do believe that Toni feels so much guilt, because she's like probably thinking about the fact that Tracy wasn't able to sign her contract. Tracy had to be home. Tracy had to kind of put her career on hold to kind of be a supporting cast to her career, which happens a lot of times, especially in entertainment families. So she's carrying a lot of guilt. So this therapy session is coming at just the right time. Yeah, Toni was always the strong one, always the one that had to hold together. She definitely suffers from oldest sister syndrome. So then we bring in Spirit, the grief counselor. Now, Trina actually states that she actually worked with Spirit. I mean, first of all, Spirit as a grief counselor, that's just a perfect name, isn't it? But so Trina actually stated that she knows this person. She's worked with her before, because before she was married to Vaughn, she was married to a man named Gabe. Gabe and her didn't work out. They got divorced, but they still remained friends and friendly after the divorce. And Gabe got cancer. He got colon cancer, stage 4. And he passed away within like months of his diagnosis. So she's been dealing with a lot of grief. So she spoke to Spirit about that. And then the scene, it kind of ends with all of them sitting down, all the sisters and Spirit, the grief counselor. Miss Evelyn is also there. That's the mother. And then also their father, Mr. Braxton, Michael Braxton Sr., is like zooming in via Skype. And also Kevin Jr. is zooming in via Skype with the counseling session as well too. And then we cut to black. And then they set up the whole season about what's going to happen and everything. And then the next episode. So that is the first episode of Braxton Family Values, the Braxtons. I keep calling it the Braxton Family Values. It's called the Braxtons now. It's no longer called Family Values. But honestly, I mean, that first show had a lot of issues. There were a lot of back and forth with the network. I mean, but I will say this was a very good episode. I was kind of disappointed that we didn't get to see the therapy session in this episode, but I guess they really wanted to see where people were, how they're doing now, and everything. So that was good. All in all, I'm really excited for this. It looks like they're all trying to get back on one accord, trying to get back to being family again. And it's rough. It's hard. You can definitely tell the grief is just heavy on everyone, from Miss Evelyn down to Trina now. It's hard. It's not a Tamar, because Tamar's the youngest. And so my thoughts on the episode. I will say though that Tracy was always my favorite, so I definitely, because they actually do put in videos of Tracy when she was going through a cancer diagnosis, this just to see how skinny she was, how skinny her fingers were, but how just full of life and spirit that she had. That was good to see, and it was just hurtful. It was very, very hurtful and very sad. Gosh, rest in peace, Tracy Braxton. So my overall thoughts, I really loved it. I love the episode. I'm definitely tuning in for episode 2. I will be watching all season. If you haven't already, it's on WeTV at 9:30 p.m. Also, you can stream it on All Black as well too. What did you guys think? Who was your favorite? Who was maybe your least favorite? What are your thoughts on this? And what do you want to see from the sisters this season? So, because what I want to see, I do want to see them reconcile. Because grief is something you should never go through alone, and grief takes time to heal. So that's what I want. That's the main thing that I want to see. I do want to see I do want to see Toni's the Las Vegas show. I heard she was really good. I mean, Toni Braxton, 56 years old, out here, outstaying half all these girls on the chart. So, and that is the end of the episode. I thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so that way you stay updated when the next video is uploaded. I do believe episode 2 is already uploaded, so I'm gonna do a video on that as well too. Comment down below, what did you think of the episode? What do you think? And I will see you in the next one. Bye.